thank everyone for having me tonight as a speaker. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. As Richard said, I'm relatively new to the area. I moved here to take over for Skip Router, the previous planning director who had been in the position forever. About 18 years off and on. He had been the planning director in Clayton, so I had really big shoes to fill. I took over for him in January of this year, and really tried to get involved in the community and things that are going on around town as quickly as I could, and continue to do so. And thanks to a strong town council, great town manager, and Bruce as a downtown development coordinator, they've made that all possible for me. I just wanted to give you some information about the town of Clayton, very generic population information, just so in case you didn't know. In 2000, the population of the town of Clayton was about 6,900 people. That's the town limits, not town and ETJ, just the town limits. In 2010, 10 years later, we had a population of 16,116. So this town grew by over 10,000 people in 10 years. That represented a 131% increase in population. And if you consider the average for North Carolina, the state grew by 18.3%. So the state's growing, the town's growing. What's the point of that? The town, even in a bad economy, the town has grown and is continuing to grow. Maybe not in the leaps and bounds that we have grown in the past, but growth is a good thing for the town. That being said, we have a lot of great things happening downtown. One of the first things I wanted to talk about is some of the improvements that Bruce has worked on Main Street and in the downtown area. The first one would be you probably if you've walked down the street, seen some new gates that have been installed, or some decorative barriers in between some of the buildings. That's to prevent cut through and other things. So there's a couple locations in downtown you can see that, and one of those locations it replaced some broken down plastic lattice, so it really made a huge impact and difference in the way the buildings look as you walk down the street. Another thing that we're working on downtown is curb cuts. Curb cuts are driveways on and off of streets. A lot of the curb cuts have changed over time. Some of them aren't even used anymore. A lot of them aren't used anymore. So Bruce and I and other members of the town staff have been going around inventorying curb cuts, ones that are important, ones that are no longer used. And the goal there is to eliminate curb cuts and provide additional locations for on-street parking, which is obviously much more important than the cut that goes to nowhere. Another effort downtown is dumpster enclosures. I don't know if you notice when you drive through town, you'll see sometimes dumpsters just kind of set in parking lots or locations that may not have been originally intended for a dumpster. So what we are going to be doing is inventorying the dumpsters in downtown, trying to come up with some new locations if possible for the dumpster, put them in enclosures so they're screened from view. And where we can, we'd like to consolidate dumpsters into dumpster corrals. Maybe have businesses actually share dumpster space instead of having 2, 3, 4 dumpsters that are half full. Have just a couple dumpsters they're making up the difference. Some of the things that fall a little bit farther outside of the downtown, wayfinding signage. Bruce has been working for some time now on wayfinding signage throughout the town that directs you to the downtown area. These signs will be placed throughout the town, but also along the main corridors, 70 and 42, as far out as the new 42 and 70 bypass. So as people come into town, they'll have the opportunity to find their way to downtown with the signage. Two of the projects that we're working on right now with the state that impact downtown are the Front Street Connector. This is a roadway that will be installed from its point where Front Street ends at the post office right now. That will continue, that road will be continued and will actually ultimately connect to 42, providing another way in and out of town. That project is a matching project. The federal funding that we're getting for that is about $1.3 million from the federal government. It's about 80% of the total cost. The town has to match 20%, which comes out to roughly about $350,000. That project should start in 2000. It should start hopefully next year, the beginning of next year, and be completed in 2013. Another thing we're trying to do is connect some of the facilities within the town. We are also using funding from the state to connect the Clayton Community Center all the way to Cooper Elementary School. In between the Clayton Community Center and Cooper Elementary School, we intend to connect the high school, the library, across the tracks, and connect ultimately with Cooper Elementary. That's probably one of the more important things that we're trying to do downtown, and that's provide a more walkable downtown, an area where it's easier to get to and from businesses, easier to also park your car and walk. The curb cuts and the sidewalks certainly help in that regard. We will ultimately, hopefully, be, as new projects come in, increasing densities in and around the city, the city center, creating a more pedestrian traffic for the downtown area as well. Another important thing that's going on, starting it's actually in January. It's in the planning process right now, is the Main Street Conference, and we're going to have approximately 350 people from around the state that work and deal with main streets all over the state. These are folks that specialize in downtowns, like Bruce and the businesses of downtown. And I would like to ask, I guess as the planning director, that everyone consider taking a comprehensive look at your stores, your fronts along Main Street or whatever street you're on, and just look at it with the new fresh set of eyes. Maybe even have one of your friends take a look at it and see if they see anything that you should change. If there's any old signage, maybe you want to change out some signage, put some new fresh signage up for the event. Keep things clean and crisp. These people, it's sort of like the old adage, word of mouth is the best seller for business, and these people will go back to their communities and talk about how great Clayton was, and we definitely want them to do that, because if they spread it around, we'll have more visitors to the downtown area. That being said, if there's anything that you need for downtown, help with your business planning, of somebody who wants to locate a business in the downtown, Bruce is the guy that you want to send them to, and I'll help Bruce in any way I can. We're almost, I won't say on a daily basis, but new business owners, potential business owners for the downtown area come into our office on a regular basis, and we try to not only help them through and navigate the planning approval process, but help them establish their business here in town so that they can be successful. So here's looking forward to 2012 and a successful conference, and a good future for downtown Clayton. Thank you.